So thank you, Khaldun, for joining me. And you have quite an interesting story to tell with your situation in Istria, in Croatia. So I would like to start with telling actually people, how did you came to choose Istria to make an investment, and what actually did you chose it for? And a little bit, just, in short, how that was journey.
Thank you very much, Irina, and thank you very much for having me. It all started years ago already when a friend of mine, Slovenian, told me about her project with her husband, that they were buying houses and in Istria, and she had been there in her childhood often. And so that's how the idea was born many years ago. And then I went to Istria actually the first time. It must have been 2017 or 18 or so, and fell in love with the region. It's a lovely region. And the idea was born to buy a house and eventually even look at the property that would be, a spot for old age, but until then also something to be rented out and to go there myself. Ever since, I've been going to Istria many times on holidays, and I finally found a spot, an old stone house that was one of my preferences, that was completely dilapidated, that had to be rebuilt. And this is how the project was born.
And how that process was, who was supporting you at that time? Because we didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other, no, indeed. So it was a lengthy process. When I found it, I bought the plot via an agency, so that was quite smooth. Then I found an architect via my friend, actually, who designed the plan of the old stone house and then a new annex. And the plan was made. And through my friend, we also found a builder for the first stage of the building. And then many things happened. The building works went out of control. The friend who was doing the coordination had too many other things, couldn't coordinate anymore. Corona happened. So many things happened at the same time that I was stranded. I then found another coordinator. The project was finished, but not really finished, maybe 2/3 finished. And I was stranded because again, I was left alone. And this is where we met.
Yeah.
Through someone, actually, through a German guy who lives in Istria.
I will make an interview with him as well, because he's really an
Okay,
expat story,
very good. So basically, when I met you, I was initially meeting you to do some coordination works also for the inside of the house. But basically, I had a house that was 2/3 finished, but the pool wasn't finished, the facade wasn't finished, a lot of the outside work wasn't finished, the garden wasn't finished, many things weren't finished. It looked already nice, and I was really desperate because I didn't know what to do, and I don't live in Istria. I live in Belgium, so I'm not very close. My Croatian is very bad as well, so I was really desperate, and luckily I met you, and then eventually we found out that we could even work more together by actually you
Running.
offered that you could finish the whole project, and
Yes.
you saved my life and the house.
Thank you. And I felt your this desperate position that you are in, and I decided to give it a go. And I never managed building site before, and that was a challenge for me. So yeah, I proposed that to you, and I don't know how that was for you, how that sounded in your head at first.
No, it was brilliant, and to be honest, I wouldn't have thought that you had never done it because you did it so well from the go, from early on. You did it very well. Indeed, it was a challenge because also in Istria, I think to this day there's a heavy pressure on builders because they have too many projects. At the time, there were many building sites. I don't know how this has evolved now, but you did it, and you did it, and this was great for me because you're very meticulous and organized in your work. You know, like you say, you see what can be done where. I call here, I call there, I get you the offers. And there, as I said, I would have never thought you had never done this before because
Yeah,
it was
it was
very
my first.
professionally done.
It's some stuff, you nail down and then you realize, oh my God, but I can do that actually. You had an offer from a company from Umag, an hour drive maybe from Bale, where the house is, and they gave you the offer for turnkey solution. We will finish the project until the end. Right. We started to nail down all the people we need. And we first gained the offers for each certain thing, but I wanted to see, okay, is it cheaper if you as an investor do it, everything by yourself? Is it actually cheaper than this turnkey solution where you are not so much in the project, you just come and you like open the doors, okay, it's done. And we ended up figuring out that it was much better, like this when I was coordinating and we were getting in offers, and we two went through the offers together.
Indeed. And that was better. And also, I think in terms of relationship building for me, but also for you for the future, that you have your people to work with. And of course, you don't pay the premium to a contractor who anyhow has to outsource it to another
Yes.
companies. I hope even down the road, it's even better for me if I have warranty issues or another work to do. Who knows what I have to do in the work still. And now I even have people there who weren't maybe involved in the building, but now the maintenance of the pool and these things, which is great because the more you work with contractors, the better the relationship becomes. And indeed, in the end, I think that worked out better. Maybe it took longer than otherwise because people need to be booked, and then it turns out to be a much smaller project because if you slice it down. But in the end, it was, I think, more advantageous, certainly for me. And of course, this has to be coordinated well. And I'm very grateful that you did the coordination because then, of course, you need to engage much more with people. The timing, you remember the concrete slabs had to be put before the tiles, and
Yeah.
the tiles had to be put before the facade or after. I forgot.
Yeah, it is. And then it's also delivery time. Everybody came in the same day. I did run a spreadsheet because I wanted to prove to you that it makes more sense. And we ended up, I was just taking a look before this conversation to this spreadsheet, and I was amazed how many things you invested in, even outside that first offer from this turnkey solution contractor from UMAG. When you add up all the things that we did, which actually he had to do, we had inox lids for the openings. That was for the cisterna and for the opening of the engine room. For example, this is quite an investment. And then was all the linen that we provided.
That's true.
All my work, so my coordinating, hourly rate. We had some electric things done by Patrick. We had gardening stuff. I say we because we worked together. I think it was saved 18,000 euros, just what this first contractor was offering, and actually it wouldn't be done anyway.
Yeah, and I remember
would pay
we had
him.
these conversations that you were telling me, but listen, this has to be done. Like you say, this lids, the very expensive sliding doors for the engine room and the cisterna, and they said, listen, it has to be done. And it's true, it wasn't anywhere in the initial offer, so it would have been added up
Yes.
to the original offer. So that was great.
Yeah.
How it worked out in the end. And I must say, at one point, I felt very reassured because things were finally happening after what was maybe a whole unfortunate chain of events and coincidences, that things were on track.
Yes.
And the result in the end is of course, very beautiful and nice.
I think you told me at one point that you even think about giving up of everything and solding the property, not selling it like this.
Indeed, I was also because I was in the middle of a divorce, so it was difficult in many aspects of my life. But now I'm happy that I maintained the energy and I kept the project alive, and this is great. But indeed, many things, and I said before that the house was almost finished, and you could think so, but it wasn't really. The entrance, the doors for the outside. I mean, it's so many things that
Details.
indeed. It was, in the end, it wasn't detailed, but it was really many things that come. So at least a good third. So the project was maybe just about 50% finished, even though it looked kind of okay, but it wasn't in the end.
Because we kind of started to work together, and we're just it was just going from 1 year to second year actually. But did you ever thought okay, maybe I really need to, I don't know, hire somebody for that certain thing, or you actually felt quite trustful in me to to finish the thing?
No, it's a very good question. At the end of the day, I think it's also a question of trust and feeling how you feel with people. And I must say, my impression was always that we had established a very good relationship, also a personal relationship, also maybe because as parents we talked a lot about how to live with our kids. We had some similar experiences as well in our personal lives. This is not the professional, but it helps to establish a relationship.
Yeah.
So already early on, I felt very good about that. And to be honest, once you started doing things more than the original brief, no, I never had a doubt. I never had a doubt that, yes, let's do it. Like I said a minute ago, it never seemed like you had never done this before. So I never had a doubt after we started together that it was great. And then, okay, we have to do another thing and more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was just
that kind of
playing,
worked.
but actually I knew what the things need to be do because I knew some stuff with the rental licenses and what actually the house in order to be finished needs, to start a
Absolutely.
rental business.
And I felt in good hands. So I felt in good hands, and I never had the impression, no, I don't want this anymore. This is very different from the experiences I've had before, where I felt, because it's a commitment in both ways, but I felt previously that I had been left alone and unfairly so. So that was nice. It was a good feeling, I must say, reassuring.
Yeah, I'm sure you had to work out through that, like gaining trust again into the like third or fourth person who runs the project.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big thing to be sure that actually you will not end it up again. Like now I need to
Exactly.
find somebody else. Yeah, because you need to coordinate all the way from Belgium. You could come here maybe twice, 3 times a year. So it's hard like that.
It was very hard, and that for me was a great relief. To this day, it's a great relief. So now, of course, the works are mostly finished, but it's still a great relief to have this support from your side.
Would you recommend this to anybody who tries to remotely build a house? Would you recommend that to somebody to have a person on site actually?
Absolutely, you need it. I mean, especially in this case, like mine, where you are far away. It's you don't speak the language, you don't know what's going on. You need someone. You need someone, and ideally, even someone like you.
Somebody who is not really an architect, not really a construction worker or anything, but person who
Someone
observes
who's
the.
determined and who's there. And I've done renovations also in my life, even on site. And just the fact of being there, even if you're not an architect, changes things because you show a presence and you put a different pressure on people
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
positive sense.
It's true. Yeah, I was sort of just a representative of yours, like
Exactly.
your ears and eyes on site, and then they immediately knew, okay, she's watching. Not
Exactly.
an
And that's
owner,
important.
but she is also observing on some stuff what needs to be. Okay, super. So now, how do you feel now when we
I
have even the rental license is done? That was a funny thing as well. You can chat a little bit about that. How you see Croatian bureaucracy at that around that.
Yeah, that's interesting. The rental license, I mean, it's a very nice house, I find, with very, very beautiful features. But in the end, because of certain stipulations in the categorization laws, we only got a very low rating in terms of stars, which
Yes.
doesn't correspond to me to what the house represents.
Even they
It's,
told you that
yeah,
the
exactly.
house is worth like 4 stars,
Yeah,
but due to some amenities, like just for the people who are watching. So if you don't have an overhang in front of the entrance door,
that's true.
you're already, it's a 3 star. If
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
a most luxurious house inside whatever, 5 stars, it can be. If you don't have an overhang in front of the front doors, no, the stars are dropping into 3, not even 4, into
exactly.
3.
And
And
then
if
it
you
was
don't
that,
have,
and then even the blinds that need to be
yeah, the
everywhere.
blinds, yeah, to prevent the strong curtains, really thick ones,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
need to
Yes.
have. And the third key was also exhaustion pipe in the
Yes,
kitchen.
yes,
That
yes.
was also why you couldn't get 4 stars, because you didn't have that. Because actually, people who are watching will see link down below, can check the pictures of the house, and they can see that the ceiling is so huge that there's no point
Doesn't
of
matter
having
exactly.
an exhaustion pipe into for the stove.
Exactly. So that was funny for me. I think maybe in the end it will not matter, but it's still strange because the star categorization doesn't represent the house. But that was an interesting experience, let's say. We also had you were there, we were there together when the two ladies came from the tourist authority too, and then when they told us these things. So now I feel, to come back to your question, I feel good. I feel very good even. So I'm going there very soon myself, and I can't wait to be in there again. I haven't been now since last summer, so it'll be very good to see it again and to experience it and to see you again. So that
Yes.
will be
Maybe
very
we can
soon.
finally, have a drink at the terrace or something.
Absolutely.
It's always that I come and we rush into some things and okay, I need to go. So yeah, we could. Now the kids are grown up enough and we can, they can have a
Exactly.
nice time on the pool and everything. Super.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Or any final thoughts overall experience for you? Would you still consider, telling people, okay, give it a try, go if your heart wants, just.
So final thoughts. Thank you very much, Irena. I think you really saved my life and the project. So really without you, it would not have happened. And I really mean this. I'm not just saying this because we're recording this now. It comes really from the bottom of my heart. And I would recommend it absolutely for everyone to go through with it, to think maybe in the beginning, the planning phase, determine very well what they want, and then find someone like you who really they can trust, have a relationship with, to go through with it. I think it's worthwhile. Again, in my case, there were many factors that came together before we met that made the project difficult. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful thing at the end. So I would recommend it absolutely, and your services to everyone as well.
Super. Okay. For all the goals crushing. Super. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And
thank you. You too. All the
see you
best and see
soon.
you soon.
See
Bye
you
bye.
soon.
Take care. Bye.